All right. I just start out by saying Barakatay Hawa, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is We Would Have Healed Babylon. And that's either from Jeremiah 50 or Jeremiah 51. And pretty much, no, that is a sentiment place. Pretty much this place is finished. It's done. Not coming back. And, everything is into it. I was just watching a video that Elder Yashawama put up on his page. It looked like that was Glenn Beck. It was called This Is It. And pretty much they were talking about this is it. Things are not going to come back to the way they used to be. And things are not ever going to get back to normal the way they were. And pretty much the main people this is really affecting is Esau. When you think about it, because later on in the video was almost 2 minutes long. And in the video they said, if this one guy said that if you can't accept that everything you've been taught about America is a lie, he said, there's your white privilege. We could never move on from that. Because pretty much, you have to realize that Jake has always been in a compromising position because we're under the curses. So Jake is used to living, of course, they live in an amusement-filled type life, having fun and all that. But as far as living in poverty, living in, in a bad situation, the ghettos and all that, Jake is used to that. It's just Esau that's not used to these hardships that are happening, as their privileges are getting cut down. So this place is finished. There's no type of balm, there's no ointment, there's no bandage, gauze or cast or whatever that you could put around this place to help get this place out of the situation that it's in. Because this is the prophecies of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai coming to pass, ushering in the end of this empire. Now, I also watched this other video that Willie D put up. The video is almost 4 minutes long, and it's called, I forget what it's called exactly, but he mentioned the USPS, which is the United States Postal Service, and how they're removing a lot of mailboxes, the blue mailboxes, from out of a lot of different neighborhoods prior to this election coming up, in so-called November. Now I don't really know how the voting shit works. I know they used to go to these places and cast ballots. I'm not sure if you were able to actually put anything in the mailbox for them to count your vote or whatever the case is, which is all bullshit anyway. But they're removing these mailboxes, so there's something going on that they're not really talking about. They got all this other bullshit, this COVID shit, in the air, which is pretty much like a cover story. These lootings and everything that was taking place is a cover story for what's really going on behind the scenes. And what's really going on behind the scenes is that America is pretty much finished, and they're systematically shutting it down little by little. Now, I know it's a little windy out here. I don't know if you brothers can hear me that well, but, it is what it is. This is an impromptu. This ain't really, anything scripted. I just wanted to commit this to video because we've been saying this for years, that America was finished. And now you're starting to see all type of examples of different things that are happening that are pretty much bringing the collapse of this society. And once America collapses, pretty much the world collapses, because they were all used to, benefiting and making money off of this bitch, this whore called America. So that's why I said we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. So just based off of the hardships that Esau has to suffer now, because they don't have that so-called white privilege that they had at one time, that white supremacy is dwindling, it's going down the drain. You have, there's a threat of there not being a election this year, which pretty much gives Donald Trump carte blanche, unless they assassinate him, to stay in there for another 4 years. The removal of these mailboxes from out of the cities. I was riding down Park Avenue in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and this was not too long after I watched the video, and I'm looking, back and forth on both sides of the streets, and usually you'll have those blue mailboxes on the corners. I didn't see not one. I didn't see not one. Now that I know that, I'll keep an eye out. Every time I drive by certain streets that I know that usually have mailboxes, keep an eye out on it. But this system is pretty much shutting down. America is pretty much, on its last leg. It's been circling the drain. Just got that little bit left, at the end, of the circling before it just finally all goes down. That's where America's at right now with it. So Babylon the Great is about to be destroyed. This place is circling the drain. There's no healing for it. There's no stimulus. There's no package. There's no way to bring her back because she's run her course. She's been weighed in the balance. She's been found wanting. And it's the time of the Lord's judgment upon her. The international bankers already finished using America for what they needed her for, which was to push this New World Order. And now that they see the New World Order in their sights and about to be established, they're pretty much abandoning this whole America, And this is when the Lord says he's going to bring this destruction, because it said when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So we're at the very, very end of this. There's not much time left for these devils. You see the technology of the mark of the beast is out there. People have taken it. People are taking it. People will take it. They will eventually make it mandatory. For the most part, a lot of people will take it voluntarily, because the majority of people of the world, even though there's all kind of information out there of how corrupt these societies are, there's still people out there that are blind to these facts because they're still in that amusement type spirit. Even though these devils have shut down the circuses, of the world pretty much, and they're about to shut down the bread. It's coming. It's right there, right at the door. And we're just waiting to see what happens within the next couple of months, when the fall really starts setting in, and they start pushing this vaccine. They start mandating it, because now they're actually giving fines to people that are not complying with, the rules and regulations of going to certain hot zones and not being able to come back into, a particular state without going through what they actually mandated, as far as quarantining yourself for 2 weeks or whatever the case is, so everything is being pushed. Eventually they're going to they'll probably start fining people for not wearing masks, making people wear masks all the time. They're trying to make people wear the mask at home, make you social distance from your woman, can't kiss in a relationship now. You got to have those glory holes if you want to, get your rocks off, so to speak. So it's this place is pretty much turning into 1984, which is pretty much already there. 1984, Handmaid's Tale, Equilibrium, and many other different movies. The Road pretty much is going to start happening. The Book of Eli is going to start happening, because shit is going to get bad out here. People are going to be very desperate, And these Edomites that used to live in a privileged lifestyle are now catching some serious hell, And this is why when they said this is it, pretty much it's it for these Edomites, these so-called white Americans that are used to living, a privileged lifestyle, because ever since they conquered this land, they've made it to where, they're superior, which they're not. They're really the most inferior race on the planet, but they've painted the picture and the narrative and pushed the legislation out there for them to be the head dogs right now. But they're about to go down soon. They're seeing their kingdom slipping from them. They're seeing that there's nothing that they could do. These revolutions are going to start. These civil wars are going to start. Once the government starts cracking down a little more, they're going to start mandating things and making things mandatory. And a lot of these different militias that have been prepping and all that, they're going to be going to war with the police. They're going to be going to war with Jake. They showed you a little bit of that in that movie Bushwick. They showed you that in the last Purge. So it's getting there. It's almost there. Once the fall hits, getting into September, October, November, it should really start clamping down a lot harder. And really start putting the screws. And right now they just got the screws in place. Then they go back and tighten them up. So when the tightening of the screws comes, man, Jacob's trouble and all the shit that's gonna go down is gonna get real ugly out here. So we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. So this place is finished, it's done, and it's about to be destroyed once all of these things actually take place that are gonna take place. The second Ezra's 15th chapter, second Ezra's 16th chapter. All the different insurrections and uprisings and seditions, of these people that are going to get fed up with the constant oppression and tyranny. So with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified. To the next time I say shalom.